Excuse me, may I please use your rubber? May I please use your rubber? I was asking for an eraser, it was in a test, right? This is what we call in British English, right? Eraser. Silence in the class. 45 sets of eyes staring at me. 4 weeks later, I would walk down the hallways, people would take a look at me and point at me and they'd keep whispering. Now I know why, right? I do know why. So I went back and I even did more research. And I found out that major US and non-US companies, in their attempt to market their slogans overseas, not understanding cultural differences, they created confusion with their slogans. Do you want to hear some of the results? Well, let me tell you. Braniff Airlines slogan, flying leather, was translated as flying naked in Mexico. KFC's finger licking good was translated as bite your fingers off. In China and Japan, 2 cultures. Let's look at this Nova. How many of you like classic vehicles? Anybody owns a classic vehicle? Okay, what kind? Chevelle. My neighbor does, and that reminds me, he had to strategize so that his wife could let him purchase that one. Now, what year do you think that Nova is from? You're saying 72, 73. Somebody else? 71. How sure are you with that 71? You had one. All right. So you're pretty sure. Now, anybody else says something different? 69. How sure are you with that 69? You're not. The reason why I'm asking you is because I have no idea either, right? I don't, but I do know this. What I do know is that Nova in Spanish means want go. So could you picture yourself going to the dealership and telling them, guess what? I really need to pay $35,000 to buy this latest model of want go. Or I want to pay $35,000 to get this latest model of killer. That matador means killer in Puerto Rico. I'll let you read that one. Dairy Association. Gut milk was translated as are you lactating in Mexico. Coors beer, turn it loose. I know, that's how I felt when I first read it, right? Suffer from diarrhea in Latin America, and I shouldn't be screaming because people are going to be thinking, what are they learning in this diversity conference, right? Electrolux, a predominantly Swedish company, wanted to tell us nothing sucks, like in Electrolux. This is something else that I want you to read as well. Yes. Now, anybody would buy that product? It really troubled me too. It takes a strong man to make a chicken tender was translated as it takes an aroused man to make a chicken affectionate in Spanish cultures. It won't lick in your pocket and embarrass you was translated as it won't lick in your pocket and make you pregnant in Italy by Parker. This tonic water was translated as toilet water. Come Alive with Pepsi comes from the mid-'80s. was translated as bring your ancestors back from the grave in Asian countries, or come out of the grave in Germany. You know how we viewed in Europe when we go as Americans, right? We're not usually formally dressed, but why should we, right? When we go, Kathleen, on that to Paris, for example. Have you ever been there? Well, not yet. How about that? Not yet. There you go. Your husband won't take you. We're videotaping that too right now. So now you'll have to take her. There you go. So when we go there, we're very comfortable, right? We want to have our shorts on, the hats. We don't want to feel, the pressure of the dress code. So this hotel was trying to say to Americans, you need to have a business casual. Instead, it said, a sports jacket may be worn to dinner, but no trousers. This Japanese Tokyo hotel had a sign saying, you're respectfully requested to take advantage of the chambermaids. Like that, they don't go through enough, right? This last one has to do with the Pope's visit to Miami. You know, the t-shirt maker wanted to have that the Pope's picture, and underneath the t-shirt wanted to say, I saw the Pope. Instead, it said, I saw the potato. So here is the reality. How many of you right now work with somebody from a different culture or ethnicity? Raise your hand, please. And I want you to take a look around the room and see what type of cultures. How many of you work with Hispanics? All right, almost more than half of the room. How many of you work with Russians? Here, quite a few of you. Asians? Quite a few of you. Absolutely. And here is the reality. Looking at the new demographic reality, out of all the racial groups, the Hispanic group grows at the rate of 5 times faster. 5 times faster. So if you already did not have the opportunity to work with Hispanics or to service Hispanics, you're going to. And that is given. If you look at the different statistics, and I do have some graph actually right here, what you're going to see in the blue from 1988 to 2018, the white population is decreasing quite a bit. What you're going to see is the Asian population in the US is going to increase from 3% to 6%. What you're going to see also is the Hispanic population is almost going to triple. And this is a reality. This is a reality. So this is one of the reasons why we need to be proactive and not reactive, right? So I really want to challenge you as we're talking about diversity today to think about what can you do in your own department, in your own unit, in your own organization to further promote understanding and respect for differences. I still remember the very first time as a professor at this point when I taught. I had a number of Chinese students, some students from India, and some students from Pakistan. And I think I had some African students as well. I want to say Somalia. They would say yes to me when it comes into due dates and assignments, but they would not bring the assignments on time. And that made me start thinking, is it cultural? Is it them being slackers? What's the whole deal here? Now, I did some research and found out that a yes in those cultures may mean yes, I hear you, or yes, I agree with you, or yes, we have an understanding, not necessarily an agreement. No. They'll never say no because it's impolite to say no in those cultures. Instead, what they're going to do, they're going to stay quiet, silent. They might say maybe, perhaps. But here's the difference. Me being Greek American, right? When I tell my kids, my 11-year-old says, Dad, what if I clean my room and I go out and cut the grass and do all the different chores? Then can we go to GameStop? I can't stand GameStop, by the way. Anybody owns a GameStop in here? Okay. All right, that's good. You know why? Because today or nowadays, the kids don't want to buy the $19.99 video games. They only want to buy those $59.99, right? That's why, yeah. So when I tell my son, maybe if you do all that, I'll think about it. Then he goes and he tells his brother and sister, guess what? Dad says that if we do all that, then he's going to take us to GameStop. Do you see the confusion that could bring? So what do I suggest when it comes into yes and no's? When you communicate with people and you're not sure that the verbal and the non-verbal communication is accurate, then you may want to send them an email. Written communication always helps. Many times when you get people from different cultures that they don't even speak the language. Anybody experienced that before? Make things visual. Over 60% of the people and the learners are the visual type. So any type of pictures or graphs or diagrams, that will help them better minimize the communication gap. Talking about differences in culture, how many of you experienced people from different cultures that they have some challenges when it comes into being on time, taking longer breaks? Anybody? Yeah, different cultures. So let's just go think about the Hispanic culture. And very similar to the Greek culture, looking at quite the opposite of the American culture. The way that time is viewed in these cultures, time is viewed like a circle. It doesn't look like a perfect circle, but you can visualize a circle here. So here's what you do in those cultures. You start a task, then you move on to a different task. You have another interruption, another interruption, another interruption, and finally you go back and you complete the task. So if you go to Mexico, for example, and you want to do business with a CEO of a company, it's very typical that he or she might be an hour and a half to 2 hours late to their appointment. That's a reality. Now you're supposed to be on time too. That's not fair, right? Is it? So here is the deal with Greece, being also one of those cultures. When you want to go to the bus stop to catch the bus, right? You go there and you wait. And you wait and you wait. If the bus goes up, you're lucky. If it does, and then you walk or you take a cab. That's the reality. Now, those cultures, time is very fluid. Time is very relaxing. It's all about establishing a relationship first, rather than just starting doing business. In America, we see time is what? Money, yeah. So time is a straight line. We start a task and we have to finish. We need to meet deadlines, right? Very important. So here is some interesting graphs to show the differences in time perception among cultures. Now, how long does it take downtown pedestrians to walk 60 feet? What you see, those cultures with a circular mode of time, like Brazil, Mexico, China, Romania, it takes them up to half an hour.